Hey y'all, it's Brian Terry, the Tattooed Worm Guy, and I'm back. So, it's been 2 days since we initially set this Nature's Footprint 360 worm factory up. I've been checking on the worms at night when I get home from work, and I've been checking on them in the morning before I go to work. I've been keeping them moist with the spray bottle and making sure the paper on top of the unit is wet. They seem to be really active, crawling around a lot. Seems like they've kind of settled in. They're not as stressed as they were the first night when we put them in here. I think it's time to go ahead and feed them. So that being said, this is what we're going to feed them. My wife made salad tonight. She made a salad with some lettuce. So I've got the core. I've got some leaves here. I've got some baby spinach. She made herself coffee for breakfast this morning, and she's got a little coffee grounds here. And you need to note, if you have a coffee maker at home and you're wanting to use your coffee grounds, you can put it in here with the filter and everything. She just doesn't use a coffee filter when she makes her coffee. She'll use a French press or some other little gadget that she makes them with. So one of the things that she gave me to put in here that I'm not even sure myself if they'll eat, because I have never tried them yet, is these radishes. So what I'll probably do is put these off in one corner of the unit, and that way if it looks like the worms aren't liking them, we can pull them out, and that way it's no harm, no foul. Basically, we just pull them out, throw them away. You can put all this stuff in there just as it is, whole. You want to kind of set it in there and scoop away the bedding a little bit and cover it up with the bedding if you can, and the worms will eat it just like that. But in my previous experience, what I found out is they do a whole lot better if you can blend this stuff up. So I just have we have like one of those Ninja blenders, and basically all I ever use it for is the little shake attachment. So the big unit doesn't get used very much, the big glass jar, and that's what I end up mixing these vegetables up in. And I didn't do it for a long time when I had my first batch of worms, and it would take forever, it seemed like, for them to process food when I'd feed them. I started blending that stuff up, man, and you could not believe the difference it makes. They just start going through it super quick. They get really active, start producing a lot more. I think it's really beneficial, if you want to go to Walmart or Amazon or something like that and get you, a little cheap $20 blender. That's all you really need. It doesn't have to be nothing special. If you can blend this stuff up, man, it'll really make a world of difference on getting these worms to process this food for you. The more worms, more compost. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and mix this stuff up, and I'll come back and we'll open the factory up and look at it, and we'll feed these jokers and see how well they do with it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pull the paper back on the worm factory, take a look at the worms, and go ahead and feed them tonight. See, we got a little activity. You can see them crawling in there. Pull this paper and get it out of the way. So you want to be careful with it. Sometimes the worms like to crawl on the bottom of it, and they will escape, man. They're master escape artists. So got a few worms in there. It's looking pretty good. Look at those jokers, man. They're doing well. They're doing well. I think they're really getting used to their new home. So I'm just going to scoop out a little place here in the bottom of this. And again, you want to be kind of gentle with them. You don't want to tear them up while you're doing that. We'll spread this lettuce in there. They're really going to like that. And you can blend it up more than that. Just depends on what you end up blending up. You blend up 2 or 3 things, it can get pretty much like a milkshake, and they like that as well. But I didn't try to blend it up too much. If it's like a drier material, you can also add water to it, and we'll end up covering it back up a little bit. Now, one thing I did find out that you do not want to put in here, and it's not that I don't know if they'll eat it or not, And it might do different if you blend it up, but we stuck pieces of cauliflower in here last time we had this thing going, and they rotted, and you could smell them all over the whole house. So they came out of here pretty quick, and I was forbade from putting any more cauliflower in the worm bin, so haven't had the guts to try it again yet. I'm gonna do over here in this corner. Like I said, I don't even know if these worms will eat these radishes. So I'm gonna kind of put them in the corner by themselves, and then that way if they don't like them, we'll just pull them out. That's no big deal. Just cover them back up. One thing we like to do is when we make eggs, we save the shells, and my wife will take them and bake them in the oven at about 350 degrees for probably like 15 or 20 minutes. You know, right before they're getting hot, but they're not starting to turn black or anything. And we will take those and put them in the blender, in the little shake blender. It's kind of hard to see it because it's in a white jar. See how fine powder those are? We not only sprinkle this in the worm bin, she also takes it and puts it in the garden. Probably not as much now that we got the worms. She'll probably let me have the eggshells, but you know, worms really love this stuff too. They'll process it and it'll get in there. I put a pretty good bit in there. It does pretty well. Kind of moisten it down a little bit. Just out of curiosity, let's see. Let's get the old moisture meter out here and see how we stand on our moisture content. So, see, even though I've been spraying the heck out of this thing, it's still telling me that I'm dry. I don't know if you can see the needle or not. I'm gonna test it in a few spots, but still saying it's pretty dry. So it's not dry to the touch. It feels pretty wet. So what we'll do is go ahead and spray it some more. And like I said, we don't want to let it get too dry. It'll get to the point once you get to doing this for a week or two that you won't have to spray it as much. Usually the first few days you're spraying it a lot, it seems like, just to basically get the moisture built up in the factory. Once you get past that point, it kind of self-regulates a little bit more. A lot of water. And like I said, this is why it's good to have this thing if you're not used to it. You know, I haven't done this in a couple of years myself, so. It's getting up there. It's went from a 2 to a 3. So we want to get it up there in the green range, which is between 4 and 7. So, nice thing about that too is that the probe on it's long enough where you can have 2 trays and you can get it to go down through both trays. So, and that helps a lot too. Once you get to adding your 2nd and 3rd trays or 4th, 5th trays, the moisture will migrate from the top to the bottom. Like I said, it becomes a little more self-regulating after a while. There we go. We got a 4 right there. So we're in 4 and 5. We're starting to get it up a little bit like it needs to. So it's just a process. Don't think you got to do it all at once. I mean, the worms are fragile, but you're not going to kill them by just being slightly dry. You just need to keep trying and get it right. I think we're getting good now. I'm getting up in about the number 4 to 5 range, so which is in the moist section of the moisture meter, which is good. I bet a lot of folks are getting squeamish, man, as many times as I say moist, but it really is a word that has a lot to do with worms. So yeah, we're doing a lot better now. Well, these guys will be a lot more comfortable. So that's pretty much it, man. I'm just gonna cover them back up with the paper, spray the top of the paper again, and cover this thing. And I'll check again on them probably in the morning. I'll just kind of, if I have time before work, I'll run down here and probably squirt a little bit of water on them. If not, it's not a big deal. They'll last until I get home. I just tend to have a more hands-on approach with them. I check them twice a day if I have time in the morning before I go to work, and then again when I get home. So just keep up, get your worms fed, and then check back in with me in another day or two, and we'll check on the progress of these guys. Appreciate it, y'all.